Those against say no. I declare it carried. The last proposition in this chapter is Resolution 238, to be moved by Paddy Crumlin, seconded by Christy Cain.
Look, it doesn't give me any satisfaction or no pleasure in moving this, but the resolution's there. It's about some of the statements that Martin Ferguson's been making that go beyond the pale. I mean, they're not like Paul Keating-isms, you know, about the aesthetic nature of Sydney, or the misinterpretation of his wonderful contribution to the Australian economy, or they're not Bill Keldy's contribution reminding the union movement that the Labor Party's got a lot more responsibilities. I mean, you're allowed to disagree and you're allowed after to move on, but you can't leave the territory littered with vitriol and criticism, particularly when you're working for something and there's a massive conflict of interest. And it's important, and I'm sorry, David, and those things, that this is besmirching what's a very positive conference, but, you know, this is 100 years old. We're the premier political party of the country. We've built this on an honest dialect. We've evolved over times on mutual respect, proper and robust discussion. The light on the hill, I mean, we're the party of bipartisanship, not the other mugs. We're the light on the hill. They're the dills with a will. A willful dills. That's what they are. And if you want to go out and you want to lose that mutuality and you want to have these massive conflicts, and I can read some of them, and what they said about Luke Foley is appalling. This is Martin in The Guardian, deliberately misleading the public, creating unnecessary fear and trying to scare people into voting for Labor, not on merit but on misinformation. In many ways, I'm ashamed of the party. Well, I'm ashamed of you, mate. Rank opportunism, he said about Luke and New South Wales Labor. Blatant scaremongering. Called for the reintroduction of the ABCC. He wants all his mates in the big oil. He wants them to come in with foreign crews from Liberia and from here and from there and everyone else. Don't pay tax, no security clearing. You know, they're completely outside the legislation, safety legislation. Andrew Kelly, 5 young kids under 10, 4 young kids under 10 dead because he's doing his job in that area of enormous danger. A young Australian worker, he wants those people, the Andrew Kellys of the world that are doing their job, to go and be replaced by foreign labour. Quote after quote after quote. Enough. Enough. We're not asking for ejection, we're censuring. Wake up to yourself, mate. This is a proud party. 100 years it took us from being a bloody colony controlled by a foreign power. Now we're a country with a foreign leader, and it will take us into a republic controlled by all Australians at some point. But it's got to be done with respect. How do you think Socrates? Think about it, Socrates. How do you think the dialectic? That's us. You know, as to do, as to be, but to do. And then along comes Sartre. What did he say? To do, but to be. And then the great philosopher came along, Frank Sinatra, and he said, doobie, doobie, doo. Now, let's get on with the dialectic. Let's do it with mutuality. If you want to come back to the party, treat us with a bit of respect, Martin.
Christy Cain to follow that.
Well, thanks, delegates, brothers and sisters, and thanks, Pat. It is quite hard following that, but I do, on a serious note, and take it seriously, want to condemn this man for what he's done, or what he's tried to do to the trade union movement. Not just my union, but the trade union movement. And that means every union in this hall. That means also the Labour Party. And I just want to say his latest performance was against the white-collar unions, where he's come out and jumped as the chairperson for the tourism industry. And what does he do when he gets in there? He says, let's get rid of penalty rates. And he doesn't say it within the party and have the debate. He goes out there with his mates in the tourism industry. And the average punter who goes to work on the weekend, who earns his quid on the weekend, is entitled to penalty rates as far as we're concerned. But more importantly, as Paddy said, safety, health. In industries, high-risk work, where he has stopped us getting on them boards to make a difference, where he's actually stated that Australian jobs must go because the wages are too high in the offshore oil and gas. Well, I'm proud, I'm very proud that we got 30% in the offshore oil and gas for our members. I'm very proud that it flows on to other workers in high-risk industries. Very proud. So I want to say where this came from. It came out of West Australia. And I don't like saying right, left, middle or whatever it is. We're all in the Labour Party. And at that executive in West Australia, it was voted on unanimously. Not one speaker against it. That Mr Ferguson should be censured. But Mr Ferguson should have been expelled. And it was rejected. And it was rejected. It went to Victoria. It was passed unanimously in West Australia. It went to Victoria Trades Hall. And it was unanimously passed there. And where was he? Where did he go then? Up to Queensland we went. And we spoke to the power unions at the ETU. And we spoke to them. And they unanimously supported it. What we said. And then it went to National Exec. And then they handballed it too hard. Went back to Victoria and one bloke says, one bloke? Oh, there's nothing to answer. Well, if we can't get him expelled, we censure him here in the biggest peak body of the ALP, the national conference of the ALP. And I say to you all now, if there is trade unionism alive and well, it's kicking in the ALP, and Mr Ferguson should be condemned wholly for his actions against the trade union movement and working class people. I second that motion.
Thank you, Christy. In support, Scott McDine.
So, following Cain and Crumlin, no small order there. And I've spoken before about these types of matters, and people get up and say that it gives them pleasure to move resolutions, etc. So it's not a pleasure to be actually doing all this, and some of the contributions I think throughout this chapter have been excellent, and some of them not so excellent. Gary, yours is the one who's not so excellent. In fact, it was pretty ordinary. So I'd actually like to condemn that one as well. We've got unions here putting out decent resolutions about working conditions, and what crap do we get from you? But then again, it's not altogether unexpected, so it's just true to form. With regards to a few other things around Martin, and I'm going to try and keep it, a little bit saner. I'm not wanting to censure Martin Ferguson because he's opposed domestic gas reservation, which he has all along, and he's actually lost that one. It's not the wide-ranging viewpoints which he seems to have about the union movement these days. I do take note of what Bill Kelty said. And Bill said, yeah, Martin's entitled to his opinion. Well, guess what, Bill and Martin? We're all entitled to our opinions as well. And it's our firm opinion that Martin Ferguson, for his actions, particularly with regard to the New South Wales state election, should be censured, and I call on this conference to endorse the two previous speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. The next speaker must speak against the resolution. There being none, I'll put the resolution. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. I declare it carried. I now put the Chapter 5, Decent Jobs with Fair Pay and Conditions, as amended, with resolutions. All those in favour say aye. Those against say no. I declare the chapter carried. We will return delegates for the afternoon session at 2:15.
Education, interaction, understanding. This is APAC, Australia's public affairs channel.
Folks, thanks for coming along tonight. Senator Maurice Payne makes a welcome return to the Sydney Institute. I think this is now the third occasion on which he has addressed us. She's very well known to all of you, so I will be very brief. Maurice Payne has been Senator for New South Wales since 1997. She's held a number of important shadow responsibilities and Senate committee responsibilities over the years, but most significantly since 2013, the Minister for Human Services. And Senator Payne tonight is going to address the Sydney Institute on delivering the best service, addressing family and domestic violence. Senator Payne, you're very welcome. Thank you.